All right. Last boat I'm going to be in today. Jaguar with a 400 Verado with electronic steering, which is, if the computers decide to kill us, and I guess they'll get me today. Man, that motor is so quiet. Holy cow. This is a great big boat. Now, I didn't realize this, but we talked on the dock. We've been standing around waiting on boats all day. This boat has the same kind of depth to the front step that my Lynx does. So it's a really big boat. Andrew and I were talking this morning. So Andrew is 6'5", about 320. And he said, loaded with a 250, with the live wells full, and him and another guy in it, he said it's a 65, 66 mile an hour bass boat. And I'll tell you right now, my Ranger, with loaded, tournament ready, without a 300-pound guy in it, just with two normal sized guys, was 65 to 68 miles an hour. So I'm going to say this boat with a 250 is probably about Ranger fast. Now, a lot of guys who are running this boat are running 300 or 300Rs. But I was just curious. It's such a big boat, such a big water boat. I want to take it out and take a spin. So we're going to take it out. I'm not going to film a lot because I'm by myself, but I just want to take it out and take it for a spin. Check it out. So that's really interesting. This is the boat that Rick made the comment that it really ran well with the Verado on it. And I just, now granted, that's a lot of motor back there, but just touching the trim, coming around that corner, running back into the wind, I got a half a tank of fuel, and I am not sure if this is a single tank or two tanks. I don't know if I got a half a tank of fuel or a quarter of a tank of fuel. Let's take a look. Fuel. Yeah. So let's just take a little quick peek here. So really what I've got is a quarter of a tank of fuel. But that boat was running 79 miles an hour just for me in it by myself. Again, it's empty, no power poles, but I mean, it just, and it's a great big boat. I like this boat. Now, I don't know that I'd like it going back to the speed I was going before because I've kind of gotten used to going faster, but pretty impressive. It's got a radio in it. Check it out.
Okay, I did not get a chance to fish out of the boat, but I got to spend that little bit of time in it. I moved around in it some on the water. It's a very stable boat. It's a surprisingly stable boat. It's 22 feet long, and I apologize. I know I continue to compare everything back to my Ranger, but that 521 is the boat I fished out of for several years. So it's 4 inches longer than the 521, but it's also 4 inches narrower. But I'll talk about that here in just a second. But I was just surprised what a stable boat it was. And looking at the overhead pictures, the other thing that kind of stands out to me, and I wish now I had measured it, and somebody probably can for me, but you'll notice that the width carries forward, the 94-inch beam carries way forward, almost all the way to those front boxes. So the boat just has a great big deck on it. And I'll also say I like the step setup on this boat a little better than I like my Link step from the cockpit floor up to the actual fishing platform. So I think that's pretty cool. And it's also got, I've never seen this before, the boat's so big it's actually got a co-angler rod box, a 7-foot co-angler rod box. So let's break this down a little bit, and let's just kind of go from the bow of the boat back. So you'll note that the boat, just like I think every other of the Elite Series Bass Cats now, the big boats, they all have that movable trolling motor. So it's any of you guys who know Bass Cat guys, they all love, or most of them love, being way forward in where they stand on a boat. I, because of stability and some other issues, like and or need to move that foot pedal back, which is what I've done in my boat. You see they've got the trim switches over there in a great place. It's got the trolling motor more down the center of the boat, very much like my Lynx boat. This looks just real similar to my Lynx boat from an overhead standpoint and how it lays out. Okay, you know, there's just some cool stuff you can get in a boat this dadgum big. So you've got split boxes in the front on either side, and what you'll see there is in between that little
Imagine having the confidence to face down a larger, more aggressive attacker, knowing
that little latchy box. That is the more traditional Ned scabbard that you see in a lot of the Bass Cat boats. So 2 front boxes, and then the Ned scabbard in between them, and then behind that, I think there's a better view for you. I'll show you here in a minute. But those 2 boxes behind that actually have these scissor lift things that your trays sit in, and then there's even storage underneath those. So there's a ton of storage there. Then you've got an ice box. Now you see bottom left of this picture, there's one little cubby hole there. That, in all the pictures they show, holding a helmet. And I carry a helmet, especially in the wintertime. I love that idea. That's a great idea. And then you've got an 8.5 and a 9-foot rod locker, which again, it's just something you can get away with in these massive boats. And then at the front of those, it's basically got a built-in day box on the front end of those rod boxes. So again, 22-foot boat, you can get a whole lot of really cool stuff in it from a storage standpoint. Now obviously you got to be careful not to carry everything in the kitchen sink, but for those of you who like to carry a lot of stuff around, this is a really cool boat. I thought I had a picture of this. So that's those back boxes, and there you see those scissors where you can set 4 boxes on either side, and then there's even storage underneath those. So a lot of storage room at the front end of this boat, and a fair amount at the back end of the boat as well. And then back into the cockpit. Now, I've had a number of guys reach out that are big dudes and say, you know, what boat would you recommend? Basically, so Andrew, the young man that's the sales guy there in Ross Motorsports in Lufkin, he is 6'5" or 6'6", and he's over 3 bills. And this is the boat he fishes out of. And he told me, he said, I'm about comfort as much as I am about speed. I fish big water, Rayburn and Toledo, and I wanted a boat that I was comfortable in the boat because of my size. And this is the boat that he fishes out of. So I would say to you that if you're a big dude and you fish big water, this is a boat you really got to look at before you make a decision. Now remember, and I've now, so by the way, Ross has some good video on this boat as well. Andrew will tell you, tournament loaded, this is a 65 to 67 mile an hour boat, which is about the same speed my prior boat was. But if you want to go to a bigger motor, this